locked in to the hottest station on the planet.
Resistance is futile. The revolution has begun.
You're listening to Rebelpreneur Radio, helping you break the rules and build the business you need for the life you want. And now, broadcasting his pirate signal
from somewhere beyond the status quo,
here's your host, best-selling author, marketing and media strategist, Ralph Brogden.
Hello and welcome to Rebelpreneur Radio, the show that helps you build the business you need for the life you want. I'm Ralph Brogden. I have a very interesting guest today. She is a professional magician, and she's going to show you how to apply some magic to your mindset and how to be a great magician for podcasts. So this is really cool, and I can't wait to get into it. I'm speaking with Victoria Mavis. As I said, she is a professional magician and podcast host of the show Pure Mind Magic. She is a published author of 2 books. She has 2 academic degrees, and she is a consultant in the area of mindset. Also, she is teaching people how to deliver amazing podcast interviews worldwide by blending that magic together, being prepared like a magician for a great show. Well, that is fascinating to me, and I can't wait to dig into it with you. Victoria Mavis, welcome to Rebelpreneur Radio.
Thank you so much, Ralph. I'm really happy to be part of your episode today.
I'm really happy to have you, and I should also mention another thing that's cool about you, Victoria, is you are joining us from Munich, Germany. Is that right?
Yes, from kind of the other side of the world, from your standpoint.
Yeah, I just think that's so cool that we live in a time when we have this wonderful technology that we can connect with people all over the world and get some different perspectives instead of just the same perspective that we are used to thinking about. We can see things from many different points of view and get many different voices. So it's just really cool to have you. I love connecting with my friends in Europe. So tell us a little bit, before we get into the meat and potatoes, tell us a little bit about how you got started in your role as a professional magician. What's your story?
Sure. So you did a really nice introduction, I have to say, very professional, and you kind of are well prepared, what magicians are always before they hit the stage. And my career in magic started really early when I was just 4 years old. That was my first touch with magic. And then with 7, I got my first magic kit, and I directly after had my first appearance on stage. And since that, I'm dealing with show business, with magic circle and everything around building entertainment and discovering the show business and also widen it more. This is why I became an author and also podcast host, to combine like entertainment, because people love to be entertained, but also the education for business owners, entrepreneurs, and just to connect it in a very special way, because I'm pretty sure as a business owner or business person, you can learn a lot from magicians, because we have very interesting strategies around mindset and also around how to make the impossible possible when we make a car appear on stage, for example.
Yeah, very cool. And you have a very strong personal brand, very photogenic, very professional and well done website. So I see this as the finished product, that you have done all of this work behind the scenes, and now you have created this and it's there, and we can see that and benefit that. And that's such a great example of what branding should do. It's not all about education, but it is also about entertainment. And that's where I think so many business people miss it, and they just don't do a good job of entertaining, and maybe they don't think that's part of what they're there to do. But you combine your experience with magic in a way that affects mindset and also affects how we show up, the energy that we bring to our podcast or our radio show or our YouTube videos or whatever it is that we're doing, tell us how this links together. How did you make these connections, and give us some examples?
Sure, Ralph. I think it's all about performance, and it is really, there are so many great products and services out there, and nowadays people just don't buy only a product, they buy your energy actually, and the energy, as you mentioned, is connected to the brand in the end. And when we take the example of Anthony Robbins, he's so successful because he has found a way to connect all this wisdom and education he presents to people with this component of entertainment. And this is why so many people go there, because when you compare, people spend a lot of money to get some tickets for concerts, for example, like pop singers or whatever. So it's really easy that they spend $200 to $300 for just one evening there. But then when it comes to investing in themselves, they say, oh, this seminar cost me $1,000. This is really a lot. Yeah. But there is nothing you can get out of going to a concert. I mean, for sure, you will have a nice evening, but that's it. And when you invest this $1,000 in yourself, in your brand, in your strategy, in your energy, in you becoming a better person or a better version of yourself, then you can monetize that afterwards. And this is a little bit where my role comes in. Because as I said, I studied magic for my whole life and every area of magic, because there are so many, from card tricks to big illusions to mentalism with telepathy and reading thoughts in general. And I did an episode on my podcast, the Pure Mind Magic Show, about what you can learn from Harry Houdini, the great escape artist, because he was a marketing genius. It's so long ago, but still his name is known today. And he had a very special approach to what to think while he was trapped in a very small box. And this is why I think really business people can learn from magicians all these cool strategies we have in place. Because when you go into a business meeting, it's the same than when you do a live performance as a magician on stage. You have to be well prepared and you have to show up confident, because people will feel any insecurity. And as a magician on stage, you have to believe in the illusion you are presenting yourself, because otherwise the audience won't believe it. So when you go into a business meeting or shooting your next YouTube video, you have to be confident about yourself and about the product or service you are presenting.
Wow, that is so powerful. And I got to say, that is so very, very true. So many people that I consult with, that I work with or talk to, they have a lot of self-doubt, and that doubting of themselves, it comes across in how they hold their bodies, how they speak, how they go through the motions of their business. And so what you're talking about is so important, to show up and to realize that this whole life is a stage. This whole business is a stage. And when you are going into that arena, that you are well prepared and that you are confident and that you believe in yourself, you believe in your value, you believe in the service or the product or whatever it is. But all of that, it all begins with believing that you have the power to transform somebody's life. And if you don't believe that, you're not going to create that opportunity, because, as you said, people pick up on that lack of confidence. And maybe it's not about the slick marketing as much as it is about getting our mindset where it needs to be. What do you think?
Yes, I totally agree with you, Ralph. And it's really that the mindset is kind of a magic key, what I would say. So it depends on the attitude you have before you go on stage. And also it's really a mindset. And there's this famous book that is already pretty old, but The Magic of Believing. So you have to believe in yourself. And the thing is, the moment you tell yourself that something is impossible for you, that very moment it becomes impossible for you. Not for everyone else, but for you, because our words hold power, and then you create it while you say it like that. So it depends, and it's really important to stay open-minded and to believe that you can do it, because, there's this famous quote, if you believe you can or you can't, you're right. And that is definitely true.
That is true. And for those of you intellectuals out there in the listening audience who are thinking, I just don't know about all this magic stuff, psychology says the same thing. It just uses different words. And in my study of psychology and in strategic communication, one of the things that I call the X factor, which is the difference between getting people to take action or not taking action, is what psychologists call self-efficacy. And all that means is the level of belief the person has that they are capable of following through and doing the thing that you want them to do. If people have high self-efficacy, then they will take action. If they have low self-efficacy, they'll make excuses, and they'll find all reasons why they can't take the action or they can't succeed. It's the same thing. We're just using different terminology. So this is universal, and it's so important that we tap into this mindset. Now, tell us how, Victoria, you work with people. What is it that you do with them to help them figure out the mindset, the magic of the mindset, and getting them to follow through and take the actions that they need to take? And how do you get them to put on that performance mentality and really bring the energy that they need to bring to these business and life situations?
Yeah, I really start with the internal world because, Ralph, it's really about dealing with the invisible. So this is what magicians do, because we are dealing with everything that is invisible, and we find a way to make it visible. It's the same as film directors do, because they have these pictures in a mind no one else can see, and they make it visible for the rest of the world. And that is very, very powerful. And everything starts with a thought. So when you look around, the chair you are sitting on and the desk you are working on at the moment, that was all a thought one day, and it started with that. And when no one takes action or does any implementation, then it's just a thought, and thoughts come and go. So the magic really kicks in when you start to implement the thoughts, the things you have in your mind. And this is where I start with people as well from this standpoint. And then it's really about this performance, because when you are in show business, and it's the same with podcasting, because podcasting is also this form of entertainment, but again, with education in the background. And maybe there's a day you don't feel like it, like also a pilot, but you have to perform. You have to go out and do it because you're booked and the show must go on.
The show must go on. That's exactly right.
Yeah, that's it. And so you feel secure when you are well prepared, and you also feel good when you went through your performance visually before, like in your mind, to imagine everything. So this is what I do before I go on stage with a magic show. So I imagine where every prop is standing on stage, to be absolutely sure, even when it's dark and I can't see it, that I know where everything is. And this is really where I'm working and helping people with the mindset and the performance, and especially performing on podcasts and podcast interviews, that you're well prepared and you just deliver a great show with great energy.
That is so cool. And so I'm really interested in how you apply these magician secrets and the performer skill set to podcasting. You've got a book called How Podcasting Can Change Your Life, Unleash Endless Possibilities. And basically, this is a podcast. We happen to be on the radio as well, which is different from the typical podcast, but it's the same thing. We're trying to educate people, and hopefully we are trying to entertain them, although I'm not sure that many people see themselves as an entertainer unless they're up on a stage. But what you are trying to help people to see is that all of us have to go through that same performance, the energy, the preparation, the confidence, and really tap into the magic of believing. How do you do that and convey that in a podcast or in a radio broadcast? Or a lot of people do videos on YouTube or on Facebook, and they're kind of lousy. And I don't know if it's helping them to do those videos or not. And so it sounds like this is a really something with a lot of untapped potential that we really need some magic. So take your magic wand and tell us how to bring that into our podcast, our video, our marketing, our messaging. How do we do that?
Yes, I came across a very interesting formula. So this is now my magic formula, and I thought not to reveal any magic secrets in your show, Ralph, but because you're so special and you're also entertaining, I guess I have to, just one at least.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, a magician never reveals her secret, but you were about to reveal one right here. So yeah, that's awesome. Great.
Yeah. So this magic formula goes and most people do it the wrong way. So they start in the back, but the magic formula is like that: be, do, have, meaning you start with the personality in the beginning, and you act as this personality you created. And when you create a better version of yourself, of course, you make better decisions, you take better actions, and then with that you will have all the things you desire. And just today I had a business meeting, and I mentioned that it is like that. So you create the person first. You start with being it. And the thing is, with magic, it's really a special profession. So whenever I come to an event and people find out that I'm a professional magician, they start to ask me for the whole night about everything, because it's so different. It's not like working in an office 9 to 5. It's really different. And so they are curious. And this is what my podcast wraps up, the Pure Mind Magic. It has already in the intro that you learn how to become a fascinating personality. And I'm sure, Ralph, you would agree with that. It's for all this media strategies, very interesting, your presence and how you present yourself. And when you are interesting, when you are fascinating, people would like to learn more. People would like to buy from you. And it's like you're performing all the time. It's also when people say, I don't like selling, but you're selling all day long. Even when you go on a date, you're selling yourself to the other person, because you have to present yourself as interesting so that they want to learn more. Exactly. And this is why with this magic formula, I say, and this is what most people get wrong, because they run around the whole day long, hustling, doing thousands things, and just reacting to everything that comes up, instead of taking a step back, really going into this, as I said, invisible world and sorting out your thoughts, because clarity is power. So to design in your mind what you would like to have and then start to act. And it's really a game changer. And when you think of really big names and visionaries like the founder of Amazon, they all saw an invisible world before everyone else was seeing it.
Very cool. So it's be, do, have. Be means to be the person, or get a vision in your mind of who you're trying to be, and create that interesting personality, so that you're not always trying to chase people around, but it kind of creates attraction, doesn't it?
Yes, definitely. And that's the thing with the branding. So you create something that is interesting as this person. And it's a little bit like an actor, because when they have a role and they get a script, they do everything to become this person they have to be for this film role. And here, I mean, not faking things. It's really, how would the best version of yourself look like? Or when you are this big entrepreneur, visionary, how would that person act?
Very cool. Very cool. Now, so that's the first step. Are you going to give us the do and the have?
Yeah. So from that standpoint, when it's really that you are starting to walk like this person, you are starting to feel like it, you change your posture, everything. And you will see, because when you change something in your physiology, it will change in your mind. It's the same when you go working out. When your body becomes stronger, your mind becomes stronger at the same time. So this is a direction you're going down there. You act as a different person from the person you are now. And it's obvious that the person you are right now created the reality you live in right now. So when you would like to create something completely new, you have to become another person first. And as this person, you take action and you have clarity on your mind so you can make better decisions.
So give us an example of how that works. I'm trying to think of one example that I think is very powerful. If you're trying to change your eating habits, one question you can ask yourself is, would a healthy person eat this? And if the answer is no, then you begin to act like what a healthy person would act like. Is that kind of what you're talking about?
Yes, absolutely, Ralph. So you got it, definitely.
Cool.
And
I got
it's the same. Yeah, it's the same when you want to become a millionaire. So you are out there and then shopping some silly things maybe. So you can ask yourself, would a millionaire buy that? Or also the value of what you are buying. So the question is, where is your return on investment? Is this an asset you're buying, or is this just something for entertainment purpose?
Yeah, that's so cool. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And this is all mindset work, but it's very practical in how we put it into practice. So be, do, and then have.
Yes, that's it, because I don't want to go like too much into the law of attraction or something like that. It's just that when you change the things from inside out, the outer reality has to react on it. And this is also science behind it, because you can imagine when you get up in the morning and you really feel good, you feel strong, you had a good night's sleep, you act differently, and you will see that the world around also reacts different to yourself. And I know there was a study years ago where there was a person going out in a very bad mood, and he was telling himself over and over in his mind that everything is so bad and he's mad and nothing is working. So with this posture and this physiology in his body, he went around and really everything went wrong, and people were very unfriendly with him, and it was just in his mind. And this is why our mind is so powerful. We can make all these changes in our mind, and when we do, everything around us has to react and has to change. There is no other way, because when we go to Newtonian physics, there is an action and a reaction, or a cause and effect. And when we change the cause, there has to be another effect.
That is so powerful and so true, that everything begins in our mind, and what we visualize. If we visualize success, what's happening is we're seeing something and we're taking actions that are in alignment with that vision. And just like the man who had the negative view, he projected that, and so his actions followed his mindset, and then his actions in the world got him a negative response from the people that he was going around and behaving in a negative manner to. You can just as easily switch your mindset and have a positive mindset, and that changes your actions. It changes your speech and changes how you interact with people, and that affects them in a positive way. And so magically you get positive vibrations in return. So it is cause and effect, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And it also has to do something with expectations, because in your mind, you're expecting certain outcomes. So there was also another study with two groups of people. One of them thought that they were very lucky, and they were told that they are very lucky. And the other group were told that they are not so lucky in life. And then they got the task to move from one building to another. And on the way, there was placed a $100 bill on the ground. And the people that were told to be lucky, almost every one of them found the $100 bill on the bottom. And almost no one from the other group that were told that they are unlucky didn't find it. And so you see, this is where also this principle of magic comes in, because everyone knows that magicians are masters of distraction. It's all about perception and how you see reality. And this is why, what I said, all the strategies are very powerful in business and mindset work, because you learn how to do the opposite. So to be not that much distracted and to be more open-minded and see everything that is going around you. And as a magician, we are trained to really lead the attention of the audience to where we would like to have them. And nowadays, people are so trained to be distracted that it is really easy. I mean, you just have to, let's say your cell phone rings and you kind of can an elephant could walk on stage and people won't see it, like in a bad picture now, but you know what I mean. So it's really about this perception and being focused that, changes you.
Yeah, very cool. And I'll tell you another aspect of magic that really affects our mindset is illusion. And a lot of magicians actually refer to themselves as illusionists. And probably the greatest illusion is the illusion that we tell ourselves, our self-talk, how we view things, how we think about things, the attitude and the energy that we create and that we bring. Sometimes we are living in an illusion, and we need to get down to the reality of things.
Yes, I totally agree with you, Ralph. And you can also turn this concept around and create an illusion on purpose. This is also then mindset work. And there is this, I think it sounds nicer to say create an illusion instead of this strategy, fake it until you make it. Right. I would say more like create the perfect illusion for yourself and then match your reality.
Yes. I like that. Yeah. I was thinking about the power of visualization the other day, if I can pronounce it, visualization. And it occurred to me how powerful your mind is. When you dream, for example, you have a bad dream, you wake up with, cold sweats and you're kind of scared and you realize, oh, it was just a dream. Or you have a good dream and you wake up with a completely different set of physiological responses, but none of it is real. It's all in your mind. So you can create your dreams. You can create your own vision, and you can begin to adapt your actions, and actually, because your mind can't tell the difference. And so that can be a good thing.
Yes, so true, Ralph. That is a really powerful tool you can use there, but because it's exactly as you said, so the mind can't distinguish between what is real and what isn't. A perfect example for this also perfect illusion is when you think of going to the cinema and you watch, for example, a horror movie there. So you sit there, you sweat, you are fearful, and you're sitting there. I mean, you are not moving anywhere. Nothing is happening. You are just seeing fake pictures in 2D or 3D on a screen in a dark room surrounded by 200 other people. But you feel all the emotions like you were in that situation. It's just an illusion. And you know that exactly when you enter the cinema, but it happens anyways. So that's it. And talking about this imagination also, or to visualize things, to give you another example how powerful it is, because as a magician, I was always thinking for my whole life, what would it be to really have this magic power? So what would I do, or what comes closest to real magic? I mean, I do magic for entertainment purpose, and it's just magic, so no other abilities here. Mm-hmm. But then when we take J.K. Rowling, the author of Harry Potter, as an example, and she is the one who said that our imagination is really like a superpower we have. And she gave a talk about that and said that everything that ever happened in her life, and I don't know if all of your listeners, Ralph, now know that she was very poor. She was so poor that she couldn't afford the heat in her flat in England. So he went to coffee on the other street to write their Harry Potter. And she did it. And I think it was 112 publishers who said, we don't want the book because no one will ever read that. So it's crazy. But she said that everything that ever happened with all Harry Potter books and even with all the film deals, every scene happened in her mind first. So what I said, she designed everything. She designed everything in her mind before it happened in actual reality. And that is what I mean by creating the perfect illusion and match your reality.
Very cool. And that's a power that we all have as entrepreneurs, rebelpreneurs, business people, to create the life and the business that we want. And it begins with the mind, getting a clear vision of what you are wanting to achieve, and then taking action every day until that inward vision matches up with the outward reality. That is so powerful, and I really appreciate you sharing the magic behind that process. Wow, this has just been so good. I'm about out of time, but I want you to tell us about your book, more about how podcasting can change your life, unleash endless possibilities. Tell us a little bit about your book.
Of course. So it is really, I fell in love with podcasting at first sight. It was the same with magic, and I found a lot of similarities there because I think podcasting is really kind of opening a magic door, because when you go through, so many things can happen. And with starting my own podcast, it really changed my life in a big perspective, and so many things happened since that. So I was invited as a speaker at Podcast Movement in Philadelphia, for example, and I made connections with people all around the world in such a short amount of time that I would say it was really magical. And so I came up with this book because I thought I would like to motivate more people to get into this podcasting thing, about doing interviews or going to other people's shows, giving interviews, or just create your own show, because it's so powerful and there are no rules to podcasting yet. So it's pretty magical. You can do whatever you like. It's only limited by your imagination.
Yes. Very cool. So if our listeners want to find out more about Victoria Mavis, and you should definitely check out her website, victoria-mavis.com. And you also have another website dedicated to podcasting, and it's goldmine-podcasting.com. So I encourage our listeners to go check that out. Victoria, this has been really magical. I don't use that word lightly. This has been really, really cool to connect with you and to talk about these concepts from a different perspective, maybe than what we're used to thinking about them. So it's very powerful. Any final thoughts or words of wisdom you'd like to share with our listeners before we wrap it up?
Yes, sure. But before I do, I have to mention, Ralph, that I had a really good time on your show, and you are just amazing on how you pick all the golden nuggets up and reframe them. Just amazing. And so I did it offline, but I do it online again. I would really love to have you on my show, Pure Mind Magic, as an expert guest.
That would be awesome. I look forward to that. That would be very cool. Yes, absolutely.
So, and then to make it really short, in the end, I have a really nice quote I found in Austria, and it's pretty simple. It just says, every adventure is just one decision away.
Very good. Deep thoughts. I like that. Victoria Mavis is a professional magician and podcast host of the show Pure Mind Magic. She's a published author. She has 2 academic degrees, so she's very smart, and she's a consultant concerning mindset as well as bringing magic into podcasting. So if you want to find out more, visit her website, victoria-mavis.com or goldmine-podcasting.com. Victoria, it's been a real pleasure. Thanks so much for being on Rebelpreneur Radio.
It was an honor to be on your show. Thanks, Ralph.
You've been listening to Rebelpreneur Radio with Ralph Brogden. Download the show notes and much more at rebelpreneur.com.